The entrance was off the parking lot, and the system was, now we have to finish this. The system they devised was they wanted to get away from as much commercialism as they could inside the park. So they said, we're not going to have any cash registers or anything of that nature in the park. What we'll do is when you enter, you get a little card. And on that card, either things are punched out or things are written in that you might buy, or if you want an ice cream cone, you punch off an appropriate amount of money for it. And every adult was given one of those cards. And that was a sort of a, on your way out, there was a bank of cash registers, 8 of them total. Well, just like you'd have in a major supermarket today. And you went out and presented your card, and they tallied up how much you owed and where you went. Well, the problem there was the dopes liked those cards too. And a great number of them never really got to the exit. Of course, we could see what they were carrying, but we certainly could ascertain what their admission fee would be. But what they consumed, in the way of snack bar or whatever, we had no way of capturing that. But there was another side to it that was not very good. It didn't initially become apparent, but over the years it started to. Was that when the family went in, they'd hand, usually the father would come and expected to pay, would be the first one at the desk, and he'd have all the cards. And then the family would scatter around. And I know this, I witnessed it many times myself, that in situations like this, very frequently, Dad would give each kid whatever he's going to give them, $1 or 50 cents or whatever. That's your money to spend today. Okay. So the kid would in the park and he'd go to the souvenir shop and there's just a whistle he'd love to have. And the clerk would say, well, where's your card? Well, I don't have a card. Go find your father or mother. Off he'd go. Father would say, well, you don't want to whistle. You don't want to spend your money on that. So you lose that sale. The same thing when mother found something in the gift shop that she thought she'd bring home looking after the cat while they're gone. She'd have to go get the father because he had all the cards, and he'd say, you don't want to spend your money on that. No. So it sort of put a damper on activity in the park. But even beyond that, when they finally got to that checkout, they tallied up everything that finally was on their cards. The last memory they had of the park is how much it cost, and which was all wrong. You want to get over that part up front, and then just want to concentrate on having a good time, so your memories about how much fun we had, not how much it cost. So we eventually had to scrap the system and become more traditional and be able to collect for things as you go.
How long did it take you to come to that decision?
Well, to tell you where it was, I was, as I told you, I was in the Navy. I came out of the Navy in 1954. In 1954, at that time, we had were told that my father had terminal cancer and he had only a couple years to live. My mother requested that I come home because I was free. I didn't have any time to float and look for where I was going to go next in my life. And so I came up and got involved in the automobile dealerships. My older brother Tom was down here. Well, Tom had some other issues and he left here, and I sold all the automobile agencies for my father's estate. And so I came down and started looking around here, and that was in 1964, and we were still using that card system. And that's one of the first things I did was bite the bullet, put cash registers in the car.
You said 54. No,
64. 63 or 64 or something. Now I told you we didn't do an awful lot of advertising, but we did discover this idea of bumper signs. And I know a lot of you have probably seen them out on the highway in those days, and cars were driving through the Adirondacks with maybe 6, 8, 10 bumper signs from Frontier Town or from Land of Make Believe or Great Escape or wasn't that the Storytown or whatever. That was the system that was used throughout the Adirondacks here, we weren't able to put any billboards or any signs up because the Adirondack park law prohibited that, but we could get our name out this way, and we were very active about putting bumper signs on our cars. The parking lot, we used to have 4 boys summer working in the parking lot and parking the cars. They'd walk around with these bumper signs, put them on the cars, and it was amazing that some people would come up and ask you, how much are the bumper signs? They expected that they'd have to pay for them. The parking lot, I always figured that that's probably a good income source. So then we got into the business of selling them, which we had to put a damper on. But that's yeah, right. Sure, that's right. Yeah, when they got back home, they wanted to be able to show the neighbor all the places they went. So the cars were just littered with them. Of course, the situation today is, if you look at how we have redesigned automobiles, there's no way of getting a bumper sign on the way we did with the little wire things. The only thing you can do is do these stick-ons, and people don't want them because they create a mess getting them off. Now, here is a picture taken actually before the workshop opened. Again, that's some of the Fortune children. And Santa, of course, as you can see, is our early Santa without the natural beard. We hadn't even gotten to the point where the refrigeration was in the North Pole, which is in there now, and the sign was just something that was stuck up there for the picture. Now, I'm showing you that picture because it was probably that picture more than anything else is what made this park an almost instantaneous, what do you want to call it? Instantaneous made it a success. When I remember when being home in the Navy at different times, discussions at home, if I was talking about this project that he's getting into, and they're talking about the White Face Mountain, and there are going to be so many tourist cars they didn't count for the tourist cars that are going to be done. That's how we put the business plan. They said, well, you know, we might be able to get as many as 300 visitors on a day in here. Maybe that would work. Maybe that would work. Well, I'm going to show you later on some of the ledgers that shows how quickly we got beyond the 300. But this picture had a lot to do with how that happened. There was a photojournalist. She was working as an independent, and she was up here graving pictures of some kind and saw what was going on. I don't know what really brought her to the area, but she got intrigued by this and took this picture and put it on the on a international photo service. I forget what the title of it was. I got it in my notes if you need to know. And it spread all around the country. We know that over 700 newspapers reprinted this picture from this. Now this is one on July 6th. Now remember, we opened July 1st, and here's July 6th, and that's in Fulton, Kentucky. That's just a sample. Over 700 newspapers that we know of, we had a copy service, actually